Hello everyone, Stjepan here. After a long time, I came back from the tournament in Split. Unfortunately, I really had no time to record videos there because I wasn't at home and I had a lot of work to do on the side as well, so I just had no time, but now I will catch up and cover all 9 games. The tournament went okay. In the end, I had 4.5 out of 9 and I had a slight plus score point-wise, so I was about 7 or 8 feeder points in plus after the end of the tournament, which isn't that great, but still it's better than not to win any points. I had a few unfortunate losses and one unfortunate draw. But yeah, generally, well, I did as expected. I didn't do any better, basically, which I'm sad about, but I have a lot of room to improve, and it was a very instructive tournament. So I will start with game 1. I will also be covering game 2 tonight, and then in the next few days I will cover the rest of the tournament, so the other 7 games. In round 1, because I'm now, I'm above 1850, so in larger tournaments in Croatia, basically you begin the tournament in the bottom half, but just near the middle, and that's why in the Swiss pairing system you get paired with somebody really strong. And in round 1 of the Split Open, I was playing an international master rated 2380. And yeah, I mean, you don't know who you'll be playing. You only know that he's going to be really strong, so you don't really have time to prepare because all of these guys play many openings anyway, and you don't know which color you're going to be playing, so you basically have no preparation against a much stronger opponent. And I was playing Vladimir Bukal, a strong Croatian international master. I opened with pawn to e4, he played the French, and we have d4, d5, knight to d2, I played the Tarrasch French. And here he already surprised me with a move which, well, it's fairly uncommon. I mean, it's about, there are about 5 moves which are played more often than what he played. The most often played move is knight to f6, then of course c5. You can also take on e4, and my opponent played h6, which, well, visually and logically isn't the best move, but, well, I was basically out of my prep on move 3, and I had the general idea of what I should be doing, but I already started thinking about traps in the position which the move h6 might set up, so I wasn't that happy. And yeah, I didn't analyze my games with the engine yet, so I saved that for the videos. I only analyzed them myself because I really wanted, to get to cover the analysis here first. So I'm going to run an engine analysis at the end of the video, as always. So h6, I played bishop to d3 because in most positions in the Tarrasch you do play bishop to d3, so I figured that can't be a mistake. Here he played c5. And now we have e takes d5, e takes d5 opening up the center. And now I think I made a mistake. I'm not sure though, because I actually analyzed some similar positions which arise after c5 instead of h6 and move 3. And a plan of bishop to b5 check, queen to e2 check, and castling long is actually very common, even though it gives up a lot of white's opening advantage. But I still decided to go for that. So bishop b5 check, bishop d7, and now queen to e2 check, bishop to e7, and you get to take the c5 pawn temporarily, so d takes c5. Now, of course, you can't really hold on to the pawn because after knight to f6, he has time to castle and play rook to e8, and you can lose your queen, or even worse, you can get mated if you're not careful. So here, I started thinking about 2 plans. One of them is knight b3, bishop to e3, castles long. And another one is knight to b3, knight to f3, castles short. And, you can see that the c file is open. If I castle long, my king is going to be on c1, so not very pleasant against a strong player. On the other hand, if I castle short, then I'm surely going to lose the c5 pawn, and I have nothing out of the position. So I played knight to b3, deciding to think about it later. He castles, and here I took on d7, which I think is an inaccuracy. Bishop takes d7, knight b takes d7, and now was the moment to play bishop to e3, because if I play bishop to e3, I'm saving the pawn for the moment. Of course, he can play rook to c8 and grab it, but I still think that I would have had a much more interesting game after bishop e3 and castles long, but I decided to play knight to f3. And here he played rook e8, now I have to castle, otherwise I'm losing my queen, so castles. And here he took with knight takes c5. And now I had a long think, I think I'm worse in this position, not that much worse, of course. He has an isolated pawn, the material is equal. I have a better pawn structure, but he seems to have more active pieces, even though his advantage should be minute. So I decided to take on c5, and after bishop takes c5, I played queen to b5, which, well, after what he played, I was somewhat happy, but then I realized that it was just a losing idea. So he played queen to b6, and now if I retreat my queen, I've just wasted the tempo for nothing. So I took queen takes b6, bishop takes b6, and now I'm lost. Well, I think I'm lost. I was really unhappy with my position here, and even though it's only bishop and knight and rook at the moment active on his side, I basically have no moves, and well, his knight has the e4 square and the g4 square. His bishop is staring at my pawn, and what's worse, his rook is coming to the second rank, and I basically have no way to stop that. Even though he has an isolated pawn, his position is just much better. So here I was thinking about a couple of ideas. The first one was rook to e1. And I thought that if he takes and the knight takes, well, after this I can save my pawn, and well, perhaps I'm a little bit worse, but I wasn't sure whether that works. The second idea I've had was just to give up a pawn potentially, because after with bishop to d2, rook to d2, I can defend with rook to d1. That's really passive though, so I think I would have just sacrificed my pawn here. So rook takes, and well, I have some activity. This was the second option, and I ended up playing something which I regretted immediately. I played c3 with the plan of knight to d4, and after rook e2, knight d4, bishop takes d4, c takes d4. Now my position is just losing, and I have no way to save my pawn. His knight still has e4 and g4, so just bad play, and he outplayed me completely. Congratulations to him, of course. He saw all of this before queen to b5, I'm sure, and I was just too weak to see that. So now rook c8, h3. I'm actually hanging mate in some positions, so I have to do that as well. And I have to stop knight to g4, because after knight to g4 I can't have my bishop on e3, which was the only way to develop. So knight to e4 isn't such a big threat if I can get my bishop to e3. So now rook c to c2, bishop e3, giving up a pawn now, rook takes b2, rook a b1, trying to exchange a pair of rooks and put pressure on the b7 pawn. But here he just played b6, and now rook b2, rook a1, knight to e4, a3. Just, I have no moves. Both my pieces are much worse than his. He's a pawn up, and he's just going to win. And I actually wanted to resign here, but I played on a little longer. Knight c3, king f1. I can't play, of course, rook to c1, because I get checked and lose. So king f1, f6, rook c1, rook to b3. Here perhaps I could have tried bishop to d2, but still, I mean, he just moves the knight. So a4, I decided to give up a pawn that way to at least try and get some activity. Knight takes, rook c8 check, king h7, rook to d8, attacking the d5 pawn, but now just knight to c3. g4, a5, h4, a4, h5, a3, g5, final trick, and of course he can allow a mate in one if he plays a2 or something else, but after he took with the h pawn, I just gave up and resigned. I had basically losing position after c3, and I think that was my worst mistake here. c3 was the worst move after queen to b6, of course, and queen to b5, trying to attack the bishop. Let's just check the game with the engine. Okay, so now e4. Let's see what the engines think about the move h6. Knight d2, h6. Well, it's not such a bad move. There have been 200 games with knight g to f3 and about 70 games with bishop to d3. Bishop d3 is okay. c5 is the best move. D takes c5 should be played here. Well, if they play c5 without h6, then d takes c5 is a bad move. Now I have to figure out why. I'm going to be thinking about this position. But anyway, here d takes c, bishop takes c. Knight to f3, knight to c6, castles. Yeah, okay, I mean, it's an okay position. But anyway, after c5, I took e takes d5, which is still equal. E takes d5, bishop to b5 is, yeah, the position is still equal, but that was a bad move. The best move here was knight g to f3, just defending my e4 pawn, d4 pawn, sorry. Yeah, okay, so now bishop to d7, queen e2 check, bishop to e7. dc5 is okay, knight to f6, knight to b3, castles, and now bishop takes d7 is a mistake, bishop to e3 should be played. Yeah, so this was what I should have played. Bishop to e3, rook to e8, and castles long is still equal, but I have a lot of attacking chances. I mean, his d5 pawn is weak, I'm still a pawn up, so he still has to regain the pawn. Okay, let's say he does play a6, takes. Well, I wouldn't play a3 here, perhaps king to b1. Okay, a5. I'm not sure, but it's a fighting position. I like this position. Much better than what I played in the game. So after castles, I took the bishop, knight takes. Yeah, this is just better for black. Rook to e8, castles. Knight takes c5. Now, knight to d4 should be equal, but I took the knight. Yeah, this is just bad. Queen to b6, queen takes, bishop takes. And now it says, yeah, bishop to d2 was the best move. c3 is bad, -1. Yeah, okay, so I shouldn't watch that any further. But after bishop to d2, and here, yeah, oh shit. I can just do this. I don't have to give up a pawn. I can exchange this. No, okay, I can't take, but play h3. Yeah, well, he's better. I don't like this position. Let's say that in this position I play rook to d1. Okay, losing. Let's say I play bishop to c3. Once again, losing. How is this move any good then? So after rook to e2, my only move is rook to e1. And after rook a to e8, h3. I'm not sure about this position. He just seems much more active. So yeah, apparently in this position, after bishop takes b6, I have 3 bad moves which I could choose from. Let's just see rook to e1. Rook to e1, takes, knight to g4, knight here. Why am I so much worse here? Okay, yeah, because in this position I do lose a pawn. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, well, not such a good game. I can't say I'm happy with the round 1 game, but well, it's a much stronger opponent. He tricked me out of the opening, so I wasn't really sure what I was doing. He just played much stronger chess, so a lot to learn from in this game. If you play the Tarrasch against the French, then you should be aware of the move h6 or move 3 and find a better solution to this. Apparently, bishop to d3 is the best move, but I'm not happy with what I played. So after c5, you should take dc. So dc5, bishop c5, knight gf3, knight c6, castles. This is the setup. So now I'm going to remember that if anybody plays h6 against me, I'm going to do this. And you have a lead in development here. Black is still 2 moves away from castling, and well, you have a pleasant position. So anyway, okay, the round 1 game. Stay tuned for round 2 and rounds 3 to 7, so you can see some better games. This one is unfortunately boring as well as losing. So yeah, I hope you will like the other games more. Thanks very much for watching. Sorry for not making any videos for a long time, but I wasn't at home. I wasn't in Zagreb. And yeah, stay tuned for more chess. See you later. Bye bye.